money, the future's alive. Grab your coffee, let's take a ride. It's wealth and wisdom, time will rise. Optimistic, educated, sharing the wealth, building things you should do for trust. Breaking it's all a must. Your guide to what this money can trust. Blessing matters, secure it right. Dreams take shape with every insight. Rules and assets, life insurance plans, building for your future with expert hands. Sometimes money more, building wealth, knowledge galore. Asset protection, plans to grow. Dream and watch your dreams overflow. From saving to days, trust to life. Breaking generational wealth divides. Healthcare directives, banking tips. We're here to help your fortune eclipse. From saving to days, trust to life. Breaking generational wealth divides. Healthcare directives, banking tips. We're here to help your fortune eclipse. So tune in now, it's time to learn. So wisdom's your return. Invest, protect, and thrive for sure. Signing off as low talks money and more. Good morning, good morning, good morning to my WMPR and WGDQ listening audience and my YouTube and Facebook viewing audience. It's time to rise and shine for another edition of So Talks Money and More. I am your host, Dr. Sabrina Edmond Williams, educator, author, and investor. Opening minds and closing contracts. I am so noted, and I am so excited and so delighted to be here on this first Monday in August. Man, where is the time going? It is already Leo season. Hey, it's time for these lions to roar. Turn up, turn up. I am so excited to be here today. It's August. It is August the 4th, so that means I am literally 17 days away from my trip to Atlanta, GA. Baby, here I come, here I come. Good morning to my good friend, Miss Sharon Day, checking in this morning on YouTube. My cousins out in California, hey, checking in this morning. So if it's 7 o'clock here, Mr. Armstrong, it's 5 o'clock there. They are listening to me, supporting cuz. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Baby girl, I see you. My home girl checking in this morning. Come on in, because we got some stuff to talk about. As I said, we are literally 17 days. That makes it a little less than 3 weeks away from InvestFest. You know, I've been talking about it. I'm so excited and so delighted to be going to Atlanta, GA, to InvestFest. This will actually be my first time attending this festival, but I am so looking forward to being here, and I'm encouraging all of my listening audience, come on and travel with me to Atlanta. We are here in Mississippi. We're only about 6 hours away from Atlanta, and it will be so worth it, you guys. The lineup for InvestFest is crazy. So much knowledge, so much Black wealth over in Atlanta, GA. I'm going to learn how to get me some, make me some. I want to meet everybody that I can. I'm looking forward to seeing my childhood crush, Mr. Irvin Magic Johnson himself. Mr. Irvin Magic Johnson did his thing in the NBA, and he has certainly been very successful professionally away from the basketball court. Took that wealth and reinvested it into the community. That's what I'm talking about. Shout out to Mr. Irvin Magic Johnson, who will be in the house at InvestFest later this month. Mr. Jack Dorsey, CEO of Square and co-founder of Twitter, will be in the house. Mr. Steve Harvey, comedian, actor, entrepreneur, will be in the house. So many others, but you guys know, who I'm going for. I'm going to sit at the feet of Mr. John Hope Bryant. That brother owns so much real estate, it is unreal. I don't even know if there's a Black man in America that owns more real estate than Mr. John Hope Bryant. Looking forward to going and learning at the feet of those who are doing what I aspire to do, and hopefully what some of you should aspire to do. Looking forward. Okay, moving on. Hey, I got some more news, and I'm so excited about this. Man, can y'all tell I'm excited this morning? I'm really excited. I am a panelist. I have been added to the rotation, the lineup of Fly Nubian Money Podcast. Yes, we air every day. We stream across about 10 different platforms, everything from Facebook, YouTube, Spotify. You got them. Go out there, find us. We're on from 12 to 1 Central Standard Time every day, Monday through Friday. If you want to receive notifications of when we go live, text the word Queens, Queens. Make sure you include that S, Queens, to the number 87948. 87948. So you may be wondering, what is Fly Nubian Money all about? Well, I'm certainly glad you asked. We are talking about a variety of money related topics. I am looking forward to today's discussion. We're actually going to be talking about a case that I'm sure you guys have seen on social media. The person who was the beneficiary of a life insurance policy that his mother left him, and he was hit up. The state hit him up for some bad child support to the tune of over $50,000. So we're going to be peeling that one back, just kind of talking about the nuances. And Dr. Williams is going to bring that perspective on estate planning, what he shoulda, coulda, woulda done to prevent some of those things from happening, what his mom coulda, shoulda, woulda done had she known Dr. Williams, and had she read Learning to Trust the Black Family's Guide for Building, Protecting, and Transferring Wealth. So we're encouraging you, if you are interested in learning more, hey, Dr. Williams is an educator, and I don't want to keep you in the dark. Go ahead and check us out on Fly Nubian Money Podcast from 12 to 1 Central Standard Time. Every day we have a show, Monday through Fridays. Now, in full disclosure, Dr. Williams is not on the show every day, but that's not a reason for you not to watch the show every day. Just text the word Queens, Queens, to 87948. Again, 87948. Now, got to get into this monologue, but I need to preface this by saying last week when I was here, I encouraged my listening audience to attend an event that was going to be held on yesterday, August the 3rd at 1 p.m. at the Christ Covenant International Church on Northside Drive in Clinton, Mississippi. It was a community credit workshop that was being hosted by Community Bank. And I tell you guys, a lot of you were not in the house. And the reason why I know that is because I was in the house. Although we had a good crowd, there were a lot more people that probably should have been in that audience, And because you were not there, Dr. Williams doesn't want to keep you in the dark. I just want to elaborate a little bit further on some of the things that we discussed on yesterday, because I think this is a very important discussion as it relates to money, and certainly as it relates to our ability to build wealth. I don't want to keep you in the dark. Now, credit. Credit is one of those things, of course, that many of us get terribly wrong before we ever get it right. If you are willing to admit it, and I can sit here and be transparent, you can say what you want about me. I'm going to tell you what I did right and what I did wrong. I had to learn how to deal with this thing called credit. And as Sister Michelle Obama says, I'm still becoming. I am still learning some things. And you guys, the more I learn, the more I realize I wish I had known. I wish I had known so many things that would have truly, truly impacted my ability to build wealth, and certainly impact your ability to build wealth. So tune in, listen up. Don't tune out now. Hey, I recognize that you're getting ready to go to work, but please don't turn me off now. Turn that radio on and turn that radio up, because we're getting ready to talk about the credit game, things that you need to know. So as we know, anytime we go out into, the industries, and if we're out in the marketplace, I should say, and we are looking around to make a purchase, a lot of times we may not have the total amount that we need to make that purchase. That's when credit of some sort will likely come into play. Now, I remember being a young girl back in Prentice, in the 80s, the late, well, I guess when I was young, it was probably in the 70s, but I didn't really start doing business until it was the 80s, but that's another conversation. So back then, I remember there was a time when I wanted a pair of jeans, and my mom said I could not have those jeans. Well, to know me is to know that sometimes I don't always hear no. So I figured out a way to get these jeans. We had a store people owned in a little small town called Carson. All my JDC people, you know what I'm talking about, Carson. There was a little store there where you could go in and you could shop, and they actually had a system where you could pay a little bit down and you could make installments, and then after you made so many installments toward your purchase, you would pick up the purchase and you would take it home and it would be yours. Okay, I thought that was the greatest thing ever. So I figured out a way to get those jeans that I wanted. We call that system the layaway system. If you're, I don't know if I have any younger listeners here this morning, but those of us that are my age and older know what I'm talking about. Y'all remember the layaway? Well, at some point, people decided that, prepaying for things was not necessarily the thing to do because, hey, I got to wait to get it. I want my stuff right now. We live in a microwave society. We want it right now. And so thus was born a system whereby we could get a little piece of plastic, go in, present that little piece of plastic, get the things that we wanted, leave the store with them right then and there, and make monthly installments on that little piece of plastic, that credit card. So in essence, we went from a system where it was probably to our advantage to go ahead and pay everything out up front. But of course, we can't always wait for stuff. We have to have it right now. So in knowing that, what was not told to us or what we were never taught was exactly how credit works, how we can really use credit to build wealth. The more we know, the more we can grow. So our credit score basically ranges anywhere from a low of 300 points all the way up to 850 points. We have three major credit bureaus. Most of you are familiar with those. That would be TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. Each of those credit bureaus uses a different scoring model. So some of them may use the FICO scoring model. Some of them may use the Advantage scoring model, but they use different scoring models. And based on what you are purchased would determine which model the potential lender is looking at. So I don't know if you knew that. Just because you have a very high FICO score does not necessarily mean that translate to a very high Vantage score. Different lenders are looking for different things. So when you go in to get a mortgage, they may be looking for, let's say, the FICO score, whereas when you go in to get maybe a credit card, they're looking at one of the other scoring models. So that's something that if you did not know, please take note of that. Now, when we're talking about what makes up a good credit score or what lenders consider a good credit score, that varies as well. But anywhere from like a 670, maybe up to a 740 would be considered good credit. Good credit, okay? 740 up to about a 779 or so would be considered very good credit. And baby, when you hit 800 or higher, that's considered excellent credit. You are in the 800 club, which is where you really want to be. Now, I know that there may be a lot of people that are listening to me today that are already in the 800 club. My question to you is, how are you benefiting? How are you really benefiting? Other than having the luxury of saying, I have an 800 credit score. How are you really benefiting? Are you making any money as a result of having an 800 credit score? Is there any money that's coming into your household as a result of your having an 800 credit score? If the answer to that question is no, you might want to hit me up after I leave this show, because I can certainly teach you how you can get paid for having a very good 800 credit score. But that's a whole nother conversation, and we're not here to talk about that. I got to teach you about the credit game. So, why is it so important to have a very good credit score? Okay, I recognize that many of us are suffering because we were not taught. That's why Dr. Williams is here. I'm not here to beat you up. I am here to lift you up. Okay, it is very important for us to have very good credit scores because they matter. They matter when we go sit down and fill out the form to get a personal loan of any sort. If we're trying to get a credit card, they matter. How do they matter? Well, this thing called interest rates. The better your score is, the better the chance that you will pay a lower interest rate for borrowing, which is what you're in essence doing, borrowing the money. Okay. Better score, lower interest rates. There are credit cards out there, you guys, that literally have promotions of up to 18 to 21 months with 0% interest. So that means you can literally use someone else's money for 18 to 21 months at 0%. Now, why does that matter? Remember, we're talking wealth building. It matters. If you don't know how to take someone else's money at 0% for 21 months and use it to make money, please hit me up after this call. I would love to teach you how to do that. It matters. Also, when you go in to secure a mortgage, remember, mortgage rates vary. Well, one of the factors that determines what type of interest rate you'll pay on your mortgage is your credit score. The better your credit score, the lower the rate, the better rates you can get. Even jobs, you guys, there are certain jobs that will pull your credit to see if you are credible, if you are worthy of being an employee at that particular company. They will pull your credit. I know long gone are the days when you can go in and just, give somebody your word and a handshake that you are a good employee. No, no, no. They look at your credit to see, and especially in jobs where you are handling money. Say if you go into the banking industry, if you don't have a very good credit report and they see that you owe Tom, Dick, Harry, John, all of these different people, and you're behind on them, well, that may indicate that you may not be one. They may not want you to handle somebody else's money because you could become easily tempted. That happens from time to time. So it matters, even with insurance rates, you guys. Isn't that crazy? Your insurance rate, your vehicle insurance, your homeowner's insurance, they are checking those credit reports to see where you stand. So it's so important to have a good credit score. So let's do the breakdown. Let's look at the breakdown. That credit score, what makes up that credit score? Now, there's a thing called your payment history. Payment history, that makes up 35% of your credit score. So whether you are actually paying your bills and paying them on time, that matters, you guys. Not what you intended to do, not what you was going, thinking about doing. It's what you did. Did you do what you say you were going to do? Your payment history impacts your credit score to the tune of 35% of that score. That is important. Now, even when it comes to the payment history, technically, if you owe something on a certain day, let's say you owe your mortgage on the first or your rent on the first, you're given a grace period to make that payment. A lot of times, your mortgage company will give you up to 15 days to make that payment. Now, in the rental world, we're not that forgiving. We're not that lenient. We may give you 5 to 7 days. Sometimes it's 3 days, and that's all the grace you're going to get. But when you go beyond that payment date, that grace period, there is a thing called a late fee that will be assessed. Now, if you go beyond that 30-day mark, okay, that's when you get this little ding on your credit report that you have been 30 days late on your payments. And you don't want to do that if at all possible, because again, your payment history makes up 35% of your score. Now, the next factor that they look at is your credit utilization. How much of your credit are you actually using? So if you get a credit card and it's, let's say your limit on that card is $1,000, okay? If you use the entire $1,000, even though you have access and they've given you permission to do so, you are at 100% utilization. That's not a good thing, guys. That is not a good thing. Most lenders want to see you at 30% or less. A lot of them want to see you around 10% of utilization. So that means only $100 of usage toward that $1,000. So please be mindful of that, especially if you're planning to go shopping for mortgages or other credit products. Get that utilization down. They're also looking at the length of your history. That makes up 15% of your score. How long you have actually had credit. The longer you have had credit, the better. The longer you have had credit, the better. Now, please know, and this is something that I learned, every time you get new credit that is reported to your personal credit report, that decreases your length history. So if you had a card that was, let's say, 15, 20 years old, and then you go out and you get some new credit or a new card, that is going to impact the length of your history. So please be aware of that. And with that being said, one of the things that it would benefit us as a community to really learn how to do is how to position our children properly, how to help them to start building their credit when they are younger. If you would like to learn more about how to do that, again, hit me up after this call. After this show. I only have a little time to discuss this topic, but I would love to go into more details with you on how you can position your children. I've been building my children's credit for years so that when they do walk in and try to buy their first home, or when they are in the marketplace trying to do business, they have a very good credit history length, as well as the next category, which is the type of credit or your credit mix. Now, if you only have one type of credit, that's a good thing. That's a start, but that is not really a good mix. And what I mean by mix is your creditors want to see that you're able to manage different types of credit. So not just credit cards. Do you have any, and credit cards are considered revolving credit products, meaning, okay, if you have $1,000 limit, you pay that 1,000 down, you go right back up to that 1,000. You pay it down, you go right back up. That is considered revolving. However, installments, such as payments that you would make toward a home mortgage or a car loan, those are installment loans, okay? That's different because you start out with an amount that you owe, and every payment that you make toward that amount decreases the amount that's owed. Those are called installment payments. Okay, you need to have a very good mix of the two. That is 10% of your credit score. And then the last the last category, this is the one that messes most of us up. So I want to stay here for just a minute. New credit or inquiries. This is where many of us get messed up, and especially when we go to these car lots. Okay, we don't go to the car lot with a plan in place. We go car shopping, and guess what? They go credit shopping on us. Sometimes you will leave a car lot, they have run your credit 5, 6, 10 times looking for someone to approve you, finance you. Do you realize you are taking a hit to your credit score every time someone pulls your credit? Every time there is an inquiry on your credit report, that is 10% of your credit score. Every hard pull, all pulls are not hard pulls. There are instances when creditors can do, or potential creditors can do, a soft pull. Those soft pulls are not reflected necessarily in your credit score. Now, they will show up on your credit report as a soft pull. However, they do not impact that credit score. But those hard inquiries, they will kill you when you go credit card shopping. You got to know what you're doing. If you do not know, it's okay. This is a safe space, you guys. This is why I'm having this conversation today. This is why I am having this conversation, for us to learn how to play this credit game. Back in the day, I used to be a bad spades player. Baby, I spent a lot of time playing spades. You could, to outplay me in spades, and especially if I had the right spades partner, it was on. But one of the things that I had to know when I sat down at the spades table, what are the rules? Are we playing jokers wild? Are we playing deuces wild? Are we playing both? Okay, tell me the rules. I know how to play the game. I got to know the rules. And that has been the problem for many of us. We've never known the rules of the credit game. So it's time for us to admit what we don't know. It's okay. But it's a season for us to start learning the things that we don't know, and more importantly, to pass these things on, to teach our children. I see my cousin out in California let's pass this segment along. This is valuable information. We are getting this at no cost, absolutely no cost to you. All you have to do is turn your radio on. We're right here at WMPR 90.1 FM in Jackson, Mississippi, teaching our people about the credit game. Yes, sir, we are. Now, a couple of things I'm going to suggest that you do. Request copies of your credit report from the 3 bureaus, okay? Get you copies of those credit reports from all the bureaus, because your credit information could be different. What's reporting on one report could be different from report to report. And guess what? That information should pretty much mirror itself, which gives you an opportunity to file a dispute and get some of that negative mess off your credit report. Do you know, if you would just spend some time, just invest a little time learning about the things that you can do to really, really clean up some of these messes that we all have made. I remember making them, you guys. It's not to beat you up. This is to lift you up. This is education. Go get that report. Another thing that you can do, even before you go to the bureaus, I'm going to suggest that you go on over to annualcreditreport.com. Annualcreditreport.com. Why? Because you can get access to your credit report for free. Now, when this system was initially established, this website was the only authorized site, and it still is the only authorized site where you could get a free annual copy of your credit report. However, during the pandemic, the rules changed, and those rules have been made permanent. So you can literally get a free report weekly. And if you really understood how valuable your credit is and understanding how to play the credit game really is, people, you would be getting a weekly report. You would be monitoring your report like white on rice, as they used to say. Now, that annual credit report is not necessarily going to give you access to your score, but it is going to give you access to the information that is on your credit report. Okay? And you need to know what's there. You need to know the positive things that are there, and you need to be aware of the negative things that are there. Okay? So, also, one of the things that you need to make sure that you understand is your credit score, the score now, that's different from just the report. That score is not necessarily going to be the same at all three bureaus. Remember what I said at the top of this episode. Each bureau has its own scoring model. So you may have an 800, and I hope you do, on one bureau, but you may have a 770 on another bureau. They change, and your credit score changes based on your activity. So oftentimes when you pay things down, like those installment loans, that car loan, that mortgage loan, when you pay those things off, I was talking to a young lady about 2-3 weeks ago, and she said, I finally paid off my mortgage, and I thought that my score was going to go up significantly. Guess what? Her score dropped almost 100 points when she paid off that mortgage. Why? There's nothing reporting anymore. There's nothing that they can report. They can't report that you're making on-time payments, late payments. None of that is paid in full. So there's nothing else to report. So please be aware of that. Last thing I want to touch on here quickly, and then I want to open this phone line up. Okay, old debts. Old debts can haunt you. Now, I know we have all stumbled. We have all fumbled. We have all done some things that we're not proud of, okay? That could have resulted in a collection, a charge-off, or even a bankruptcy. That stuff can linger on your credit report for up to 7 years. 7 years of bondage, you guys, okay? Collections, charge-offs, and bankruptcies can linger, but there are things that can be done when you know what you're doing to dispute some of these things and to get some of this stuff removed. If you don't know how, guess what? I know how. Not only do I know how, it's not about always knowing how, it's about knowing the who, and I know the who. So if you find yourself in one of those situations where you have collections, where you have charge-offs, where you have bankruptcy, and you want to talk about it, you are not ashamed to admit it because you want to improve your credit situation. Give me a call after this show. I would love to connect you to get you some help and get you out of this bondage, because the reality is, people, if we really understood how to play the credit game, we as a community could build some generational wealth. And it's only until and unless we learn the rules of the game, we will never play it successfully. So remember, collections, charge-offs, bankruptcies can stay on their credit report for up to 7 years. Those inquiries, let me go back to that because I didn't say that. They can stay on their credit report for up to 24 months, 2 years, okay? Unless you know how to get them off that credit report. Call me if you don't. Okay, I think it's time for us to take a station break. Looking over here at my engineers, and they hadn't given me the nod yet, but I think it's time for us to take that station break. We're going to open these phone lines up when we come back at 601-948-5950. I need to hear from you. Tell the listening audience, what do you wish you had known about credit? What did you have to learn the hard way about credit? We're going to talk about that when we come back after this station break.
In life's most difficult moments, you deserve compassion, care, and a confident hand to guide you. At West Haven Memorial Funeral Home, we've been honored to serve your families with dignity and respect. With 4 convenient locations to serve you: 3580 Robinson Road, Jackson. The number 601-922-3666. 306 Depot Street, Utica. 1968 Highway 51, Hazelhurst, and 2132 Simpson Highway 49, McGee, Mississippi. Owned and operated by Ms. Audrey B. Wiley and Mr. Freddie L. Davis, West Haven Memorial Funeral Home provides thoughtful, affordable services tailored to your family's tradition and needs. Our experienced team is here to walk with you every step of the way. Whether it's a quiet, intimate service or a celebration of life, West Haven offers the peace of mind you and your loved ones deserve. Complete service under one roof. West Haven Memorial Funeral Home. We're proud to have them as an underwriter on WMPR.
All right, we're back. We are talking about credit this morning, the credit game. As I mentioned at the top of the hour, I had the pleasure of attending a community credit seminar on yesterday that was hosted by Christ Covenant Church. It was presented by Community Bank. Mr. Rico Wells, shout out to you, sir. You did your thing over at Christ Covenant yesterday. Now, I was very pleased to see the number of people that were in attendance, but hey, there are a lot of us out here that do not know, do not understand, have never been properly taught how to play the credit game. And so today's show is for you because you were not there, but you need to know how to play the credit game. So we're opening up the phone lines. What do you wish you had known about credit, about building credits? What credit mistake are you bold enough to admit to our listening audience and our viewing audience that you made? If you had only had guidance, if you had only had knowledge. I see the phones are ringing. Good morning, caller. You are on the air. Thank you for tuning in this morning. Turn your radio down for me, please. Turn your radio down. Good morning. How you doing?
Yeah, I wish I would do that 8 years ago, but I had a pocket full of when I walked away from my house. And boy, it's putting me mad.
You walked away from a house, and was it because your credit score was not what it needed to be?
Man, they jacked my credit up and boy. I thought I had money, but credit way more than power than money.
Yeah, credit is powerful.
You're exactly right.
Credit is powerful.
I also got a question.
Yes.
Of course, they got little things that they're like kickoff and COBRA, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you suggest that?
Like kickoff and what's the other one?
That's COBRA.
Okay, I'm not familiar with those because I've never used those. So tell me what they are.
Kickoff is just like something you just pay like $10 or $20 a month.
Uh-huh.
And it just make it seem like you just make an on-time payment.
Okay.
I'm messing with it.
Uh-huh.
I'm with Credit Card. I do see the change in
okay.
It, but I wanted to hear your intake on it.
Okay, thank you for presenting that question. Now I understand what you're talking about. Thank you for presenting that question, caller. So his question is, what do I think about using services that will help you build credit, if I'm understanding him correctly, that will help you build credit by making some type of installment payments? Well, I absolutely think that you need to do that, especially if you are trying to rebuild your credit. And that's one of the reasons why it was so important for people to attend that credit seminar that was presented on yesterday. Literally, all you had to do is come and sit and learn. It was a 2-hour seminar. At the end of the seminar, you were presented a certificate, which you can take to any branch of Community Bank, and it will allow you to open up a free checking and savings account. It will also position you for a loan, a small dollar loan. And basically, it is just what you're talking about. Some banks refer to them as pledge loans, but basically you can get money. I think the credit score requirement was 549 or less. You could get up to $500. Between a 550 and higher, you could go up to $1,000 loan. So they take the money and they put half of it in the checking account, half of it in your savings account. Okay. And you have access to use the money, but you make small monthly payments on that money, which are then reported to the credit bureau. So it's as if you are, again, rebuilding credit. You need something reporting to build a credit score. I cannot stress how important it is for you. I don't know if you guys tuned in last week. I mentioned during the show that I had a phone call from a young couple that were, they knew, I don't know how they knew, but maybe somebody told them that I manage rental properties. And so they called looking for a rental property to property rent. Okay. When I talk to them, as I always do with potential clients, one of the things that I realize is these people are paying about $2,000 a month to rent. Now, I know that I have listeners that are all over this country. Now, in California, my cousins out in California, I know you tuned in this morning. You may be saying, what's the big deal? But $2,000 a month here in Mississippi, that's a lot of money to be paying in rent.
I'm going to ask you the same question. What's the big deal?
What is the big deal?
Let me give you some places.
Yeah, did you guys realize I had a co-host here? I mean, this little voice.
Yeah, just a little voice. You stay on Facebook, right? You look much better than I do. Doc, when the ice storm hit, my daughter had just rented a home in Byram. Now think about the ice storm, a few years ago. $1,800 a month.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. She just moved out of a property in Brandon, Mississippi. $1,800 a month. Mm-hmm. So why are you shocked?
Well, it's not that I'm shocked.
A 4-bedroom.
It's not the rental price that I'm shocked at. I'm a landlord, so it's not the price that I'm shocked
what
at.
Are you shocked about?
When I listen to people that are in a position to pay that amount of money, the question becomes, why are you not a home owner?
Well, let's
now,
talk about it.
Now I'm gonna tell you why. It's because of this topic that we're discussing right here today. Okay. Most of the time, it is because we have not positioned ourselves properly when it comes to this credit
game.
How
do you rectify that situation after you have 3 or 4 children? Mm-hmm. After you decide, you have a family already, and then you possibly meet somebody and get married, and then y'all into a unit. How do you make the adjustment then? Because that's what has happened in the African American community. We don't plan for the baby. Nobody teaches you about, and when I'm just being frank, I was sitting in that class yesterday, we got to skip some of this stuff and get down to the business. You don't have the conversations with these babies before they get pregnant. And then they had the second one. Then they had the third one. And I told somebody a few weeks ago, there's something about our women that they don't figure out that they need to turn the veil off until the fourth. Then when the fourth one comes out, you got to have a place to stay. By that time, your credit is way out of whack. All right. Now, let me ask you this. I was sitting there yesterday. I heard the information. I think it's a wonderful program. But you give me a certificate. Mm-hmm. I go down to the bank and I can apply for a loan. Half of it go into an account, and then the other half I can utilize as I wish.
No. So half of it goes into your credit, your checking account. I'm sorry. The other half of it goes into your savings account.
So now the half that go into my checking account, though, I can use it, right?
Correct.
Okay. Now, would you agree with me doing this work that if that person that just received that certificate have not went through a budget class and don't have a budget certificate, how do they avoid doing the same thing? Because is the budgeting part of it not crucial, Dr. Williams?
I think it's very important. And I think that's why it's so important that we have conversations like these on community radio talk shows so that our community is tuned in and educated, because to your point, giving someone money without giving them the education to manage the money does no good. Okay. And I would totally agree with you. Now, with that $250 or that $500 that's sitting in that checking account that you have access to, my question is, what are you going to use it for? In some instances, the best use of it could be to pay down debt, Mr. Jones, existing debt that you have. But now what you don't want to do is go out and buy you some new boots so that you can show everybody how you can put your boots on the ground. Mm-hmm. That's what you don't want to do with it.
Well, I mean, when do we get to that conversation? Because keep in mind now, if the information that I receive is correct, we really do not have a problem with funding our funds in the African American community. We got a problem with how we spend it.
With managing the money. That is absolutely true.
We are handling the money passed through our hands. Mm-hmm. And Dr. Williams, I'm telling you this, and again, we're at a point now with the conditions that I'm seeing on the streets, and especially with our Black women and going to homes that don't have electricity. You know, you can let go of the emotions now. Mm-hmm. This is not about how you feel or how the information is presented. Is it correct? Okay. So now we need to start having the conversation about teaching our people, our mm-hmm. community, about what is important and what decisions that they make. Now, some of these, I mean, we are making companies wealthy.
Right.
The research has been done and it's out there. These companies depend on the African American dollar. Although you might not have one in the boardroom, and I heard that yesterday. You might have very few Blacks in the boardroom, but you have these major corporations, and whether they bottom line be in the red or black depends on what Black folks spend.
That's true, Mr. Jones. And one of the things I just want to point out, because of where we are and where we're headed, I go back to a conversation that I started here on this show several months ago when we started talking about digital currency and the impact that digital currency is having on the marketplace right now. So you say $250, $500, what would I do with it? What are people going to do with it? Well, if someone had invested $250 or $500 in Bitcoin when it came out in 2009, mm-hmm. guess where they would be sitting right now?
Talk to me.
Billionaires with a B. So again, you're right. There is a discussion that we need to have on how to best utilize the money. Good morning, caller. You're on. Thank you for calling in. Go ahead.
Yes, I can't stay long. I got a doctor appointment, but mm-hmm. I just want to get your contact number.
Yes, sir. Okay, go. Are you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
It's 601-891. 5611 601-891-5611.
And your name, because this is my first time tuning in.
Okay, thank you for tuning in. I'm Dr. Sabrina Edmond Williams, and you have tuned into So Talks Money and More.
Dr. Sabrina
Edmond Williams, yes.
Okay, I thank you.
Thank you for calling in. Have a wonderful day.
All right, thank you.
Again, Mr. Jones, you are so correct when you talk about the importance of not only having the money in your hand, but knowing how to best manage the money. Because, I mean, the bottom line is if you don't have a plan for the money, then what are we going to do with it? Throw it away, give it away, waste it up. And then not only will we find ourselves in the debt that we're already in, we have now acquired additional debt when the whole purpose of the loan itself was to position us to build or rebuild our credit. Now, I do want to address, I know you're cooking over here. I can look at you and tell. I do want to address something that I see here on YouTube. Someone says, don't forget to talk about student loans, how student loans affect your credit if you're not paying it. Mm-hmm. Okay, so you guys, I have some very strong opinions about student loans. And so I'm going to try not to be very biased here in what I say. So I'm going to try to, as the old folks say, I'm going to season my words. There are a lot of people right now that are drowning in student loan debt, for degrees that have never earned the amount of money that, equals the amount of debt that they have, Mr. Jones. So that degree, I mean, you go get this degree and I'm not knocking education, but I need us to think for a moment. You go get a degree that may, and then go get a job that may pay you what, $30,000 a year, and you in $200 or $300 worth of student loan debt.
But Dr. Williams, again, if we don't understand, you still got a group of people that will lead you into a rabbit hole.
Right.
Do you understand?
I do.
You got counselors that their job is to counsel you.
Right.
You still got professors that need to pay their light bill.
Right. Right.
So these people are not going to tell you, they're not going to put themselves out of a job.
Right. And it's not so much about putting themselves out of a job, Mr. Jones, but back to your initial point, understanding that a lot of times people got student loans when they didn't even really need them. They had grant money. They got the student loans to go out and do things that were not even necessary. Buy a cute outfit to have to wear to the game on Saturday. You know, so you have to ask yourself, and that's why I thought this phone line would be just blowing up, because I know we've all made these mistakes. Point in case, I attended an HBCU down on the bluff. Now, I'm not a tiger. Y'all should know I'm a very proud Jaguar. But what I do remember about being a student on Southern's campus, there was a time, Mr. Jones, when these credit card companies, all of these different people would be on campus hawking T-shirts. Oh, sign this application, fill this piece of paper out, apply for this card, and you'll get this cute T-shirt. Nobody ever told us that every time we filled out one of those applications, we would
your credit.
Bing, bing, bing. Nobody told us that.
But Dr. Williams,
yes.
We keep saying nobody.
Nobody.
When we keep expecting somebody to come in and rescue our community, our people, that continues to highlight the shortfall within our own community, right? When I know you're not old enough, but did you ever have a piggy bank?
What would make you think I'm not old enough to have had a piggy bank, Mr. Jones?
Well, I'm just asking. I don't want to get
absolutely. I did.
Okay, so our parents back in those days taught us the importance of savings. You understand? So we keep watching or allowing other people to move our community forward. Mm-hmm. And some of this, Dr. Williams, we don't need the government to be doing it. We need to just bring it back to basic principle. Spend it. When you're going in a grocery store, I give my grandchildren the credit card and I let them make the groceries. All right. And my point is, they need to know how much stuff costs. And
you are absolutely correct, because to your point, we don't have that conversation. I remember sitting in a seminar a few months ago where the presenter asked this question, gave us a piece of paper, and he asked each person in the audience to write down the dollar amount that they felt that their parents earned when they were children.
Okay.
I, for one, honestly have no clue. I couldn't even fathom how much money my parents earned. All I know is that the bills were paid.
Okay.
We had, a roof over our head. Mm-hmm. We had lights. We had water. We had food on the table. I had clothes on my back. Okay. And sometimes when I asked my mom and my dad for things, mm-hmm. they said yes. And sometimes they said no.
All right. My father was a truck driver, had a third grade education. And he worked for a Caucasian man that most believe that was part of the KKK back then. Mm-hmm. We're talking about back in the 60s, all right? And my father earned $75 a week. Mm-hmm. All right?
You know that now, but did you know that then?
Oh, yeah, I knew it then.
Mm-hmm. How did you know, though?
Because he asked him for a raise and told him he couldn't continue to work for that. And the man told him no. But hold on. But what had happened was, out of that $75 a week, he and my mother were saving money. So he went and bought a little truck and converted that truck and started working for himself. Mm-hmm. You understand me? But you can't spend all So while he was working for this gentleman that he believed would never pay him what he was worth, Dr. Williams, he was taking a little bit, putting it back, and had enough to go put a down payment on getting his own. And then he began to do the same thing that he had learned to do, although he didn't have but a third grade education. And I'm saying that to say, just this past week, I was at Kroger's, and two gentlemen were standing there, and they hauled the gas. They transport the gas. So I that being my old career, I recognized this older gentleman training this young man. So I walked over there and asked him, "Are y'all hiring?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "Man, it's a great demand for this." I said, "Well, what can a driver earn in a week?" He said, "Easy, $1,600, $1,800 a week." So back to your point, Doc, we got jobs that need to be filled. That if a person chooses to do that without a student loan, and a lot of these companies will pay you while you're going through training. But we're in a season now as a people. We want the jobs where we can travel. We want the jobs that's cute. We want the jobs where it's technology. But I think, now this is me, I believe that we need to look at where we can make money, take care of our family, and move on. Now we have a short window because AI is causing some problems.
Well, and that's true, Mr. Jones, but back to our subject at hand, our topic at hand, credit. It does not matter. And that's what I want my audience to understand. It's not about the amount of money that you make.
Mm-hmm.
It's about your understanding of how to use what's in your hand. So you can have bad credit making $1,600 a week, or you can have bad credit making $1,600 a month. Now, I do want to just go right back. Let me circle back because I don't want to not address the statement that was made here on YouTube. Student loans do affect your credit. So for those individuals that got the student loans and have stopped paying them, yes, that information is reported to the credit bureaus. It is on your credit report. Now, we do know under the previous administration, a lot of the student loan debt was forgiven. However, I've heard rumblings. I've heard some rumblings.
No, you didn't hear the rumblings. You heard the people say.
I've heard some rumblings.
You don't pay that student loan, you got issues. And not only is that the case, but people, please, and I'm talking from personal experience, set up a payment plan and make that part of your budget. Because if not, these people are going to wreck your life.
Yeah.
That's making it simple, okay? You got the money, you sign the papers, it's a student loan, it's the government. If you don't pay them and you are making money, when you go file your taxes at the end of the year, you're going to find out that the government got their money. Or you're going to go to your bank account and find out that they have seized their money. They are absolutely serious.
Now you just said a word, Mr. Jones. And again, I got to give a plug to my podcast episode today at noon, Fly Nubian Money. We are actually going to be talking about a case where someone was the beneficiary on an insurance policy that owed back child support.
And they got the money.
And the government the state sees that. I mean, it's not funny, but I'm just saying, to your point, when you are doing things, sometimes you position yourselves in places where even when you are earning the money, if you are not repaying as agreed, that you can position yourself where your income taxes can be seized, or your bank account may be seized as well.
Look, real quick.
Yes, sir.
With a credit effect, you getting a job. I heard that yesterday.
Yeah, it can.
Years ago.
It can.
But that was one of the things people act like they were shocked about. I think the question came back again. Oh, it will affect you getting a job.
It can affect you getting a job.
Yeah.
So just think about this. Let's go to the banking industry or any industry, even retail, where people are handling money. Okay, if you check the person's credit report and you saw that they had, a lot of different creditors, they were behind on all these different creditors, you would probably think, twice, maybe 3 times about whether you are going to put this person in a position within your company where they are handling money, because that could be a temptation for them.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. Well, look, Doc, as always, excellent information. We appreciate you so much here at WNPR 90.1. Also, WGDQ down in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. All right. You're doing an excellent job. Your popularity is blowing up. I might have to renew my contract with you.
Well, I tell you, I'm not trying to be popular, Mr. Jones, but I am trying to educate my community.
Well, why not?
It's not about being popular.
Yeah, look, when you're being popular in an information setting, and the information that you're sharing is this important, it's important to our community.
Yes.
So many times we follow, and what's popular is not positive.
Right.
So it's a good thing. And what I'm excited about is the people that's interested in your show, the information. And then I go back and say, we need to go to application.
Right.
Don't just, oh, Lord. Colin, you got about 30 seconds. Good morning.
Yes, look, I called earlier and I went to my doctor. He's not in, but I asked for her contact number.
Uh-huh.
And I thought I locked it in and I didn't. I was wanting to get Dr. Williams' number again. And
all right, look, we getting ready to get off the air. I'm going to put you on hold just a second. Don't go nowhere. Just hold on. Okay.
All right. For those of you like the caller that may want to connect with me, if you're having some credit issues, as I say, we certainly have people that we can connect you with to help you get your credit situation straight. He helped me. I'm in the 800 club. Yes. Okay. So hit me up at 601-891-5611. Again, that's 601-891-5611. Or you can follow me across social media platforms at I Am So Noted. That is I am S.E.W. Sabrina Edmund Williams, NOTED. I Am So Noted. Across social media platforms. If you're on IG, go ahead and put a underscore at the end of that. I am so noted. My mama calling me and I'm trying to end my show. All right, because it's 8 o'clock. Thank you so much. We look forward to you tuning in next week. If it's Monday, so is talking money and more. Peace.
Mama, you got kill us over here, Larry.
Or 90.